In today's video, we'll be talking about resetting a breaker in your electrical panel. If at any point you do not feel comfortable, please contact a licensed electrician. First, let's look and see what type of breakers we're going to be using today. The first is your traditional breaker. On the end of the on-off switch, you will notice a number. That is the amperage or the rating for that particular breaker. The one directly above it is an arc fault breaker. It's slightly different as it has a built-in test button. This is used to ensure that the breaker is working the way it was designed. When turning a breaker on or off, it should always click or snap into position. It should never sit in the middle of the breaker. Turning off is relatively easy, but turning it back on does take a little bit of force, so be prepared. A non-trip breaker should never be loose. It should be firm in either the on or off position. Turning the power on or off with an arc fault is the same as a traditional breaker. The same thing goes for a GFCI or combination breakers. To test the breaker by simulating an arc, press the test button. Notice the switch, or operator as it's called, is in the center of the breaker and not aligned with the other switches. This is common for any breaker that has been tripped. If you happen to come across a breaker that's been tripped, you'll notice that the operator or switch is very loose and cannot be put into the on position. To reset the breaker, turn it to the off position and then move it back to the on position. Under no circumstance should you ever hold a breaker in the on position. Anytime you troubleshoot an electrical issue, always inspect the area first. This could be around the panel or the area that the circuit is being tripped. Inspecting the area consists of looking for water or the smell of smoke. You might also want to look for any electrical cord that was plugged in or outlet cover. You are looking for signs of something being burnt. First issue you might run into is if it trips right away or makes a noise. If this happens, unplug all appliances from the circuit and try again. If the breaker stays, then potentially you had too many appliances on the circuit or one of the appliances is bad. The next common scenario is a breaker that trips on a regular basis. When this happens, usually you can reset it and it won't trip right away. However, a couple days later it will. When this happens, look to see what appliances are on the circuit. Take those appliances off if possible and use them on a different circuit to see if you get similar results. If you do, then you know that there's something wrong with those appliances. If you don't, then potentially there could be something wrong with the breaker and it needs to be looked at and may need to be replaced. Hopefully this video helped you today troubleshoot some common situations with your electrical panel.